See, I feel really copacetic on where I stand with Christ and who God is and what's going on in the world. I feel really have a lot of congruity and confidence about His kingdom. But precisely because the clearer I understand what the kingdom is, how it always looks like Jesus dying on Calvary for the very people who crucified Him, praying with His last breath, Father, forgive them. The kingdom always looks like that. It always has that kind of servant, sacrificial, loving character. And the clearer I've become about that, the foggier I've become about what the institutional church has to do with it. Because the reality is that, at least from the 4th century on, the institutional church hasn't often looked like that. The institutional church looked kind of like just another religion, and often did nasty, mean, barbaric, violent, antichrist stuff, and did it in Jesus' name. And the church yet today is full of self-righteousness and haughtiness and arrogance, and you don't see as much of the servant sacrificial character of Christ as you'd like to see. If Jesus Christ, looking like Jesus Christ on Calvary, is the criteria for what the true church is, then it seems to me that there's not a lot of the true church. And my question is, I wonder sometimes whether this surprised God, or whether perhaps somehow maybe the massive failure of the church to be the beautiful church we're supposed to be. I sometimes wonder if in the profundity of God, this didn't take Him by surprise and isn't incorporated into His plan. In the same way that Israel, here's the pattern you see throughout history, and it's continuing today. God gives Israel blessing after blessing after blessing, and the more He blesses them, the more rebellious they become. So then God comes Himself, and He dies on the cross for us, and He puts His Spirit within us. He gives blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing. But so far as I can see, the church is as much a failure at living out the call to be the beautiful kingdom as Israel was. And I wonder if part of this isn't that doesn't loop into Romans 11 where Paul at one point says, and I wonder if whatever else is told in the story of history, if the dominant story won't be something like this, that God, however much grace God poured on us, however many blessings God poured on us, and He went to the craziest extreme imaginable on Calvary and then giving His Spirit to us, however much he extended towards us, we just got more and more rebellious, but dang it, He's going to love us anyways.